NFL Live. So much to get to today. Very busy day. We will hear from John Harbaugh. Look at this. Allow me to reintroduce myself. Okay, being hired as the Giants' new head coach. You don't want to miss what he had to say about working with his new quarterback, that guy, Jackson Dart. And C.J. Stroud's playoff struggles continue. Does Houston have a quarterback problem? Dan will show you exactly what went wrong. Really interesting stuff here. Plus, the Rams are on their way to the NFC Championship, but is it all smooth sailing in L.A.? We'll take a closer look at what could possibly slow them down against the Seahawks. Familiar opponent, you know how that goes. Dan's here, Mina's here. We got a lot to get to, you guys. Let's kick it off with New York, okay, where John Harbaugh was introduced today as the new Giants head coach. He spoke about his vision for the team, what he hopes to bring to the Big Apple, and how he plans to lead the Giants moving forward. Take a listen.
We begin a new chapter in New York. Our focus is simple. It starts with building a team that is physical and tough, that's capable of overwhelming their opponent from beginning to end, and especially at the end, that understands how to finish, that is smart and disciplined, that plays the game the way it should be played, and that everybody watching it, including those playing it, will be proud of. I'm excited about Jackson Dart, you know, and it starts with the quarterback for sure. I mean, the quarterback has got to, you build your team around your quarterback. I mean, you build your team around your players and what they do well. And I like the way he plays. I mean, I like his talent, skill set, all the things he's accomplished. But more than that, I like who he is and what he's about. And to me, he's about football. I mean, this young guy loves football. He wants to talk football all the time, and you know, and that's kind of what I like doing too. So I think we're gonna have a lot of great conversations. I can't wait to get started with him.
I love that. Puts a smile on my face. And John Harbaugh, the fourth former Super Bowl winning coach over the last 25 seasons to take over a team coming off a season of 4 or fewer wins. It happened last year when the Raiders hired Pete Carroll. It was one and done after going 3-14, though. Doug Peterson took the Jaguars to the playoffs in his first season in the prior instance. Mina, the big question for him in this organization, though, is who comes in as OC? He's talking about his relationship with Jackson Dart, but how important is that hire going to be for Dart's development when it comes to his future?
Obviously, this is a huge hire, a huge decision for John Harbaugh, especially given where Jackson Dart is in that development. Year 2 is so important for these young quarterbacks. When I first heard Todd Monken being thrown around as a possible offensive coordinator, and I know he's done some head coach interviews, I absolutely loved that idea. I think Monken did a fantastic job in Baltimore, not only, of course, dealing with another mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson and designing the run game to highlight those skills, and the run game should and will be the focus in New York. But also, I think, you know, Monken showed a lot of creativity, called a very modern offense, an offense that constantly iterated, was very different from what he did early in his career. I loved how he used motion in the run game in particular, some very creative and interesting personnel, obviously, in Baltimore. So I would really like that hire if New York did it. I do think, and I know, Dan, we've talked about this, Dart is very mobile. His mobility is different from Lamar's. Oh, yeah. They're going to have to call a different sort of QB run game, and also an emphasis has to be on getting Dart to protect himself because he's not Lamar Jackson in the open field. But on the whole, I would love that idea, and I hope it happens if I'm a Giants fan. Yeah, obviously the hire of coordinator is going to be a big deal, and then I think that's kind of the next step for this organization and or football team is some of the question marks. One, with your own roster. Are you going to re-sign your right tackle, Illuminor? And there was some pretty good play out of him this year. And then second, who's going to be the pass catcher opposite Malik Neighbors? I'm not sitting here telling everybody it has to be this unbelievable wide receiver, but it's got to be a pass catcher, whether it's a tight end as well. Theo Johnson did some good things. Yeah. You know, I think that the interior of their offensive line has to develop and grow and have some added pieces. So, and then add to the secondary from a full team perspective. And so I'm one of those people that I think when you bring up in a coach like this that understands how to win and really how not to give away games, you can get pretty competitive pretty quickly. I don't think that this is put this in them as the #1 seed in the playoffs next year. But I do think if they figure out some of the pieces on their offensive line and get a competent wide receiver or really an upper echelon wide receiver opposite Malik,
I think this is a team that can contend for the playoffs.
It'll also help to get Cam Scadaboo back, which he's in line to potentially be back by training camp. Should be huge for that offense. All right, so this coaching carousel continues to spin, but some of these vacancies are being filled. Some news breaking late last night as the Tennessee Titans finalizing a deal to hire 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh as their next head coach. Saleh spent Monday with the organization where both sides impressed each other enough to move forward. So Saleh, with his defensive background, takes over a Titans team that was a bottom 3 offense in the NFL last season in several categories: scoring, passing, rushing, analytics. They ranked 30th in all of them. And he will have 2025 number 1 overall pick Cam Ward and the 2026 4th overall pick to work with. I think that number 4 overall pick pretty huge too, to see where they go when it comes to supporting Cam Ward. But Dan, a lot of people expected the Titans to go offensive here. This vacancy was the first one that really came down, and we were thinking, oh, would it be Stefanski? He ends up going to the Falcons. Do you like this hire with Saleh coming in?
I like the hire, but I want to see who the offense coordinator is. I think Robert Saleh is a good coach. I do think that he was dealt a difficult hand in New York, specifically on the offensive side. But it's all going to come down. It's not that different than the Giants situation. Who he hires as his head coach. Is it going to be Mike McDaniel if he doesn't get a head coaching job? Is it going to be Mike LaFleur that he can bring, that he had with him in New York? Is it going to be Matt Nagy, who was part of the Chiefs and maybe in some of the head coaching cycles and might be departing from Kansas City? I think the most important thing for me, NK, is you have a special talent in Cam Ward. I truly believe that. His ability to make some throws, I think he had as many wild throws as most high-end quarterbacks in the NFL this year. The biggest thing is you cannot hire somebody that coaches that magic out of him. It's a challenge because you do have to coach some of the sloppy out of it, some of that danger out of it, that carelessness out of him, no doubt. Yeah. But you don't want to coach the special out of him. That's why this hire is huge, because I think there's some rare talent in him that can vault Tennessee, at least offensively, up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if Mike McDaniel doesn't get a head coaching job this cycle, I'm throwing the biggest bag possible at him just for a year, right? Then he can go back to trying to be a head coach again. But this year, I will repeat exactly what I said for Jackson Dart. It is so important for Cam Ward's development. It's not just about the coordinator. They desperately need wide receiver talent as well.
Yes.
That was an issue that just showed up time and time again. As far as Saleh, though, just to back up for a second, I do think the further we get from his Jets tenure, the more we see what he did with what he was given, right? From the point he was hired in 2021 until he was fired in week 5 of the 2024 season, that defense was first in yards per play, third in success rate. And since then, well, we've seen the results even before they traded away some of their players. So I do like the idea of him coming in and fixing the defense, because this is a problem on both sides of the ball. His leadership abilities are often raved about by folks around the league. But if he doesn't nail the offensive coordinator hire, nothing will matter. And to me, that's the biggest hire, maybe league-wide right now.
Yeah, and also just what he did with San Francisco defensively this year when they got decimated by injuries. I wonder, MK, does the experience in New York that he had with Zach Wilson impact him in a positive when it comes to just the handling of that position and that offensive side of the ball? Does he want somebody who's got a little bit more experience developing a younger quarterback? It's not only the play caller. You got to have somebody that's in that building on a consistent basis that really knows what it's like to develop a young quarterback. What are the things we have to break? What are the things that we want to enhance? I think that's just as important as the play caller as well.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement there. I think just to echo what you're saying about the quarterback development too, like I think they've got to really find a way to get the run game going. Again, Mike McDaniel would be great in that regard. I thought the Titans' offensive line, there was issues, but you also saw some young players take a step forward. So for me, the main priority this offseason is just adding pass-catching talent.
Yeah, Mina, you answered exactly what I was going to ask you, so we're just always on the same page. The Titans do have $77 million in cap space. That's the third most in the NFL, so they do have the bandwidth to add at key positions, too, for Saleh. He's done a nice job with a lot less, so maybe with a little more, he can really have success. Just getting started here on NFL Live, the Dolphins have a new head coach. But what does Jeff Hafley's hire mean for Tua Tagovailoa's future? We'll dive into that impact next. Plus, the Seahawks ran all over the 49ers, but can they carry that edge into a showdown with the Rams? Dan explains why it all starts on the ground for Seattle. So much more coming your way on this Tuesday on NFL Live. We'll be right back on ESPN.